Hello, and welcome to Let's Talk Immigration. Um, if you have questions, would love to do some question and answer today because otherwise it's just going to be me saying things are bad, things are getting worse, and nobody wants to hear that anymore. So if you have questions, drop them in the comments. Would love to address them. Um, let me see here. What is going on? So I talked about this yesterday in the lives for foreign languages, but um, the Trump administration is repurposing Guantanamo Bay to store, to house, to detain up to 30,000 non citizens that they're planning to remove. They don't have any legal authority to do this, but they've already started anyway. The first flight was yesterday. I understand it was like a dozen, maybe 10 um, citizens of Venezuela. Thought that was interesting because Trump had bragged that him and the dictator of Venezuela, Maduro, had worked out a deal where Venezuela would take removals of Venezuelan citizens. So why are we sending them to Guantanamo? I don't know. If you're not in the US and you're watching and your US friends are acting crazy, we're going through a rough time right now because Elon Musk has sort of taken over the federal government in ways that no other private individual has ever done, including gone into the Office of Personal Management, OPB, OPPM, I don't know, and the Department of Treasury. There's another department. Today they announced that they were going into the FAA that does watches after planes. Like he wants his hands in every part of the government, and it's a very disturbing way. In a very disturbing way. It's very disturbing for a lot of Americans right now. We're really worried about what's going to happen. So, and then there's people that put Trump in power and they think it's fun and they think, it's all going to work out. But I think that we're going to see real damages by what Musk is doing and Trump's actions that have happened in the last couple of weeks. And when those things happen, like maybe people stop getting Social Security checks or something like that, they will try to find a way to blame Biden. And I just hope that that doesn't work. Okay. So already got some questions here. Brian Ballo says legal immigration and illegal immigration is not the same. Well, those are two different phrases. Okay. Nakasu Rebecca says, is DV program still available? This is a great question. Yes, the DV program for DV 2025 is ongoing right now. People have until September 30th to be issued DV 2025 visas. However, I am a little fearful that the program is going to see some obstacles after March 21st, because that's when it's expected that Trump will have a travel ban in place. Okay. And the travel ban will probably impact a lot of countries that traditionally have a fair amount of diversity visa selectees. So I hope that's not what happens, but it looks like that's probably what's going to happen. And there's another thing that Trump administration can do. They tried it during the first administration where they just stopped the DV program. We challenged that in court and then we won. But then when the remedy for allowing visas after the end of the fiscal year, the Biden administration appealed that victory, a case called Good Luck and Gomez, and the court sided with the Biden administration. So now the way the law is, if Trump does stop the DV program, we can sue and we can win, but judges can't do anything beyond the end of the fiscal year. Judges can only order the Trump administration to take actions during the fiscal year and not reserve visas beyond the end of the fiscal year. So it's a little complicated. I apologize for that. But DV 2026 entries were submitted in October and November. Those results are expected in May, and then they will be eligible for from October of 2025 until September 30th of 2026. That's when DV 2026 program will happen. So I'm hopeful that the DV program will still be around for then. But there's, like I said, there's the one thing that can go wrong with Trump actually sabotaging the program. And then there's another thing that can go wrong, and that is it's possible that Congress may mess with the program. That's because Congress right now is controlled by Republicans, and a lot of Republicans do not like the DV program. So you ask a little question, and I rambled a little bit. I hope that's okay. Open to receiving more questions, by the way. What else is going on? I am on a quest right now to remind everyone with a green card holder or anybody with a pending immigration matter with USCIS to remind you that you have an obligation to let USCIS know when you move, okay? If you move, you've got 10 days to let them know. Let's say you're a U.S. citizen, you don't have an obligation, but if you have a petition for like your spouse or your parent or your kid, well, you need to let them know, because otherwise you're not going to get their notices, right? So if you have any relation with USCIS and you move, you need to let USCIS know. The reason I'm on a quest to remind everybody of that is because I think notices will start to go out as Trump starts to implement programs that put more scrutiny on immigrants. And if you don't even get the notice, you won't even get an opportunity to defend yourself. So you need to make sure that you're following the law and that USCIS knows where you are so that you can receive mail from them. Okay. I got that tip out. What else is going on? I was expecting more questions today. Crazy. Things are going crazy. Why isn't there more questions? SEAC problem. Keep trying. Okay, so our clients, our paralegals, the public, a lot of people are having trouble uploading documents to SEAC right now. There's a lot of witchcraft methods that you could try to see if you could get SEAC to accept your documents. I'm not going to endorse any of those tricky ways. I'm just going to say, just keep trying. Keep trying. Do not give up on uploading your documents. Okay. Here's a question. Do you see any change coming for I-140 NIW EB2 policy in the Trump second term? I'm first-year PhD student working on preparing material for the I-140. I do not have a view on that. I think that the people that influence Trump and the administration, there's two different camps on it. The Stephen Miller camp wants to abolish all legal and all legal and illegal immigration. They just don't like people that don't look like themselves. So that if they have their say, if the Stephen Miller contingent of the Trump administration gets their say, you're probably in trouble. But then there's the Musk contingent of the Trump administration, and he seems to be very friendly with immigrants. In fact, yesterday it was reported that he had tried to hire a green card holder to work for Doge, and that does not work because in rare exception, green card holders cannot work for the federal government in places that involve national security and stuff. So anyway, the White House told him no. So I thought it was sort of funny in a way because here this administration is all like immigrants bad and they can't even they can't even run the government for 2 weeks without needing to hire one to do what they want to do, right? So maybe they don't know what they're doing. Okay. May says, what do you think will happen to the U4U program? Well, the U4U program has been paused. Okay. If you expect that program to be turned back on, then I would lobby your member of Congress for that, because right now, nothing is going to happen with it. Let me share it on Twitter. This was the Custom and Border Patrol guidance that went out January 24th, so about 11 days ago. And it said that the president issued an order to terminate all categorical parole programs that are contrary to the policies of the United States. And somehow that included uniting for Ukraine. So the policies of the United States have changed overnight, right? So I guess what I'm saying is right now it doesn't look good. If you're in the U.S. on United for Ukraine, though, you might have options. Asylum might be an option. Talk to an immigration attorney. Do a consult. Okay. Reddy says, once I'm in the U.S. as a green card holder, while I wait for the physical card, do I need to carry my passport at all times? I really do not want to lose it and get in trouble. I would not carry your passport. I wouldn't do it. I would take a picture of your passport, the 551 stamp, the I-551 stamp in the passport, and the biographical page. So you have it on your phone, or if you don't carry a phone, print out pictures of it and carry it in your wallet. But I wouldn't carry your passport either, because it is a pain to replace your passport, right? Also, I'm not sure about carrying the green card. I know that it's the law, but if you lose your green card, it takes 1 to 2 years to get it replaced. So I don't know if complying with the law there. I would rather have a picture of the green card on my phone and not risk losing my green card, because if you lose your green card, who knows when you're going to get it back. It was taking 1 to 2 years to get a replacement green card under Biden. So imagine what's going to happen now. They might turn off the printers, this crazy Doge folks that are running things. Okay. Great question here. Do you see any changes on the fiancé petition for beneficiary from countries that will be affected by the travel ban? We do not see changes yet, but they are expected for March 21st or after. I've talked about this last week, but in the week before maybe. But basically, the order that Trump issued on January 20th gave the Department of Homeland Security, the State Department, a couple of months to do their homework. So they have until March 21st to give a report to him on which countries are not sharing data. Well, if your visa beneficiary, in this case your fiance, is from one of those countries, they're likely going to see a ban on March 21st or after. So is there anything you could do about that ban? I don't know. We have to wait and see what happens with the ban before we know whether or not we can challenge it as unlawful. It could be that the ban is lawful, because if he copy pastes what he does that the Supreme Court found lawful in Trump v. Hawaii, then he can probably get away with it, right? But we might still have ways to challenge it. In the meantime, I don't understand why more people aren't challenging their delays as unreasonable before a new ban comes. Like, we have a window here where you could file a mandamus lawsuit, hopefully get the adjudication before there's a new barrier. And I mean, a lot of people have been moving forward, but I expected it to be many more people. Okay. Shahab says, I sponsored my parents to migrate here. Great. Mom got her visa and entered the U.S. last year and got her green card. Great. Dad is in AP, and we haven't heard anything from the embassy, Yerevan, yet. How long will AP take for male Iranians? Great question. Okay, so there was a declaration from Carson Wu in April of 2024, April 7th of 2024, and Carson Wu said that only 10% of security advisory opinions take 2 years or more. 90% are completed within 2 years. However, what he didn't do is break that down by country. And I think if he did, the statistics would be a lot scarier for certain nationals, like Iranians, probably Russians, maybe Pakistanis. There are other countries that go into AP, though. Canadians go into AP, and nobody knows why. But I guess what I'm saying is, your dad could be in AP for 2 years or even more. 3 weeks ago, I won a injunction where a federal judge ordered the State Department, a federal judge in Maryland ordered the State Department to give a final visa adjudication for a visa applicant who had been in AP since 2019, January of 2019, 6 years. So, while it is one approach to wait around and see if you come out of AP naturally and organically, the risk that it goes on is there, and it is real, and it does happen. Okay. Raymond says, what's your suggestion regarding applying for green card after asylum application approval? Meanwhile, any updates regarding Afghan P1 process? I think you're talking about that situation of where you're supposed to wait a year. And I'll tell you what, you need to talk to an immigration attorney about that, because I can't relay the things that you need to consider in making that decision. But if it's been a year, you definitely want to apply for the green card, right? But how soon you apply before that year you're taking a risk, so you want to understand the risk, because you don't want to have to do it again, right? Any update regarding Afghan P1 visa process? That's not my area of expertise, but if you're talking about the parole program, that's over right now. Lobby your member of Congress if you want it to resume. Okay. And my assistant is giving me guidance for that last question. Let's put that last question back up here. Once you've been granted asylum, you no longer have to wait 1 year of physical presence before granting your I-485 application, but it's recommended to apply at least 3 to 6 months after you've been granted asylum, because there's a risk that the USCIS officer might consider your application too soon before you accrued the 1 year presence. In this case, your case may be returned to you. I think the chance of that is less under the Trump administration, but it is still a chance. And that's kind of, thank you for my backroom team for making that clear to where I could read it. I think the risk of that is lower now because our experience with the Trump administration the first 4 years, they're going to make things less efficient. That's what they do in the immigration context. Okay. That's all the questions I have. So I think I'm going to wrap up early. I've got this new beverage I'm drinking lately. Jarritos, comes from Mexico. It's called Mexican Cola. Bought a bunch of it because I was scared there was going to be tariffs and I wasn't going to get to drink it anymore. So now I'm going to have to drink it every day or I'll never go through all of them. That's all I have. No more questions. If you do have any questions that come to you, remember you can reach out to me. Go to our website, readygolaw.com, contact us. And there's actually a place to contact folks that work with us who speak different languages too, right? So you don't, if English isn't your native tongue, you could go there and hopefully talk to someone on our team who knows your language. Alex says he has one. He has a Jarrito. Do you have a Jarrito or you have a question? Raymond says thank you. Alex, I want to give you 15 seconds to type your question. Waiting for Alex to type his question. Okay. I don't know what's going on, Alex. You'll have to message me that question directly because our show is over. Okay. Everybody have a good week. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other.